Bienvenidos, aloha, and welcome into Sunset Rewind, our final episode as we head into league play, wrap up non-league play. 4 of the 6 teams had byes, but the Newport Harbor Sailors and the Fountain Valley Barons both played this week. Before we get into that, reminder, follow us on social media at sunset_rewind on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is always cool to say, I love saying this, Howard, buy a copy of our magazine at your next home football game. Buying our magazine supports local high school football. Howard, I want to get into the games in a second, but we're done with preseason play. I'm very excited to head into Sunset League play.
I mean, as you should be. There's some really strong teams in Sunset League. We knew that there would be. Some teams started off slow and are really peaking right now through 5 games. So there's going to be a heated competition at the top of the Sunset League. We're interested to see if a couple of teams can upset what's going on at the top. So it's going to start out fast with some good games next week. So I'm excited.
2 final preseason games to wrap things up here, and it was the Sailors having their makeup game with J. Sarah. Of course, that game rescheduled due to COVID. The Sailors took on the Trinity League Lions in Davidson Field, and it was not pretty for Newport Harbor. They lost 44-0, their 3rd game in a row. The Sailors' offense was shut down by the J. Sarah defense. Didn't get a first down till the 4th quarter, but we talked to Coach Peter Lofthouse this morning, and he still had a positive message for the team heading into league play.
Looking at where we're at as a team, the best thing for us as a team is let's get going on Edison and let's put our focus there. Let's direct our focus on Edison and let's get ready for these league games because, you know, that's one thing our kids really do look forward to are the league matchups. You know, it's a unique community here in the Sunset League. All the coaches know each other. The kids all grow up in the same communities. They all know each other well too. And so it makes for very good, very fun rivalry games.
Yeah, Coach Lofthouse, I mean, he's doing a good job of keeping his team engaged. You know, when we talked to him this morning, he said, we're not going to do too much looking at the film from J. Sarah. We're not going to dwell on the mistakes. We're not going to get caught up in that game. We're just going to look forward. And I think that's a smart move because in reality, the Sailors were just overmatched. J. Sarah had the athletes. They had incredible speed. They had incredible size on the offensive and defensive line, and they got after it all night. You know, they made it tough on Newport Harbor. I think Harbor didn't get a first down until the second half, maybe even the 4th quarter. So it was a tough game, but there were some things that Newport Harbor is going to be able to take and feel positive about. And some new stuff that we saw was just a quick passing game. We know Harbor, they tend to have longer developing plays because of the way they can stretch the field. Nick Kim is an experienced quarterback. He can go through his progressions. But this week, there was a little bit of a change. They knew J. Sarah was going to get after him. So there was some quick stuff that was inserted into the passing game, a couple of different wrinkles and different formations that Coach Lofthouse brought out. So those are the things that if Harbor does watch any film on this J. Sarah game, they're going to take those positives. And one thing that I have to mention, speaking of the positives, in the second half, we got to see senior quarterback A.J. Gutron Moore have an excellent showing. We know he's a talented kid. Even though he's listed as 3rd on the depth chart, he's a capable quarterback. So if you need to go to A.J., you're going to be in good hands. And he showed us that last night. So I was glad that he got on senior night, got to show what he's made of. And the Harbor offense looked fluid. It looked good. He got some first downs. He got a 20-yard pass that made the offense feel like it was moving. So there was some good stuff, some bright spots out of the senior quarterback, A.J. Gutron Moore. So I was excited for him.
Yeah, he did. He got the Sailors their first downs of the game all the way in the 4th quarter. And the Sailors, talking about wrinkles in the offense, Nick Kim, senior quarterback starter, but we have seen the Sailors deploying Carson Diavola, the junior who starts at safety, one of the leaders of the defense, using him at quarterback more, not just on designed quarterback runs, but also just having him drop back and pass and using his athleticism as sort of a 1-2 punch with Nick Kim. So I think that's something, the quarterback situation, Kim and Diavola both getting reps. I think that's something to keep an eye on as we head into league play for the Sailors.
Yeah, I think we'll see a little bit of the option type stuff out of Carson Diavola, but as you mentioned, he throws the ball as well. It's really going to come down for the Sailors. It's going to come down to being physical, being sound in their assignments, and just executing. You know, the competition's not going to be as high as J. Sarah every week, but then again, when you're opening Sunset League with Edison, it's not going to get much easier. So Harbor's going to have to execute their butts off, and they did a good job not getting penalties this week against Jay Sarah. That's going to have to continue. They're going to have to find a way to get back to Peyton Irving in the run game, and they'll look to get back on track against a tough Sunset League opponent this week.
Yeah, like you said, it doesn't get any easier for the Sailors. They open up Thursday on the road at Capshew Field against the Edison Chargers heading in to Sunset League play. Let's head over to Fountain Valley, the other team in the Sunset League that had a game with the other 4 teams having a bye week. And the Barons, they dropped their 4th in a row. They lose to the Aliso Niguel Wolverines 44-15. Howard, tough sledding for Fountain Valley right now, but we did get a chance to talk to Coach Gutierrez. As we know, we believe in what he's doing. He always gives us some hope. And he said that there were positives to take from this game against the Wolverines.
For us, I really liked how our kids, they're starting to get a little bit more mature when it comes to the adversity part of the game, being down by 1 score, being down by 2 scores, and then kind of understanding it's really us and let's see how we can finish this game out or finish this, this play, finish the series, finish the quarter. They're starting to just respond well and just keep fighting.
Well, Coach Gutierrez was certainly in good spirits. Given that it was a loss, obviously he wasn't going to be super excited, but he was encouraged. He kept telling us, hey, I'm excited. I'm excited about the opportunities. We all know how tough it's going to be in Sunset League to even win a game. Let's be honest. It's tough to win a single game in Sunset League, and we understand that. Fountain Valley knows it's going to be an uphill battle, but Coach was genuinely excited about the fight, the resiliency of his guys, and that encourages them. And he feels like if we keep working, we stay disciplined, we stay physical, eventually we'll start coming together and being a full team, a complete team that puts together 4 quarters. This was a game we felt like was a story of 2 halves. In the first half, at one point in the second quarter, it was 7-7. Fountain Valley's feeling okay about themselves, but then, the offense kind of stalled out a little bit. Aliso Niguel put a lot of pressure. They were physical. They got after it with their front 7. So they just made it difficult for Fountain Valley all night. And in the second half, Fountain Valley struggled to be consistent. So the main thing is Coach Gutierrez is still encouraged, and he feels like his guys never quit. And with that kind of fight, that kind of attitude, they expect to see it progress as the season goes on.
Well, Coach Gutierrez talked about he's not just building for this year, not just building for next year. He's really trying to get this program back on the right track for the next decade, get them back to where they were in 2008 when they won the Sunset League. So he's not building for this season. He's building for the future. And that's why when he sees little things, sideline energy, kids doing things right 4 out of 5 plays instead of 3 out of 5 plays, he's encouraged, even though I know I said that this team would win a couple of games this season. I'm not sure if the Barons win a game in the Sunset League, but they're building for the future. And Coach Gutierrez's energy that he instills in that program instills faith in me. So even though I don't know if this team will win another game, I still believe in what they're building. Moving on to the Griffins, Los Alamitos. They lost their first game since 2019 last week on a bye this week. We had a chance to catch up with offensive coordinator TJ Fenton, and he had a positive message despite dropping their first game since the 2019 season.
Nothing really changes for us, right? Definitely know the standard, know the expectation. Our guys are great. They're always trying to get coached, whether it's a win or a loss. They stay together no matter what. So to see how they've responded has been awesome, and just another opportunity for us to grow.
Yeah, I agree with Coach Fenton. He's got a good group, not just a talented group, but a group of high-character kids. And they've won a lot of football games over the last 2 years. So they're a team that knows how to win. They're not afraid of the moment. They've played very tough competition the first 5 games of the season. So this is a team that we always talk about it. They have state championship aspirations. They've got all the talent in the world. They just have to tighten up a few things because, being honest, Coach Fenton didn't say everything is perfect. We talked to co-defensive coordinator Coach Cobley. He didn't say everything's perfect. They said we have things that we need to improve on. Yeah, we've got a lot of individual talent, but we have to find ways to play for each other, play together, and gel. So there are things that Los Al needs to clean up, that they're focused on, that they're working on day in, day out in practice. But with that level of talent, they're always going to have a chance to beat anybody that they step on the field with. And with the character kids that they have, just like what TJ Fenton was talking about, that gives them an even better chance to respond and to rise to the moment and to be poised. So I'm so confident in Los Al, and I'm really excited for their first Sunset League game. Los Al versus Corona Del Mar, that's a big one. CDM's been putting up 40, 50 points in some of their games. They beat a tough San Clemente team. So who knows what's going to happen on Thursday night, Los Al versus CDM. I can't wait to open up Sunset League and watch that matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. We'll talk about the Sea Kings in just a second. But also, Howard, we were on campus at Los Al on Friday for yet another 5-star recruit committing to a top D1 program. Wide receiver, defensive back DeAndre Moore, the third Griffin this season to commit to the University of Oklahoma. We caught up with him after his commitment. We asked him, what are the Sooners getting in DeAndre Moore?
And we know Sooner Nation is pretty hardcore, great fans. Tell them what kind of player they're getting in DeAndre Moore.
I'm getting a hard worker. I'm going to come out every single day in practice and, bust my butt to, earn a starting job. And, that's me.
Yeah, the Sooners are getting a good one. DeAndre Moore, he impressed us. We hadn't spoken with him before, and we always hear. I just got done talking about the character of these Los Al kids, and sometimes it's hard to believe that they're really going to be, this solid of a group, but they really are. DeAndre Moore is another one. He talked to us about the commitment, but he also said, we got a lot of work to do at Los Al. I want to keep getting better every week. I want to keep working. So excited for them. There's going to be a lot of Orange County eyes in Norman, Oklahoma for the next 4 or 5 years. So that'll be fun for us to keep an eye on.
Let's talk about Los Al's opening Sunset League opponent, the Corona Del Mar Sea Kings. Like you said, that is a juicy matchup on Thursday night to open up Sunset League play. Howard, let's get right into it. What do the Sea Kings need to do to win?
Sea Kings, they have to do what they've done all season, and that's put up big numbers in the passing game. That's one of their main strengths. And that's not to say they don't have a great run game, because they do. They just got Evan Sanders back, who's an all Sunset League running back. Coach O'Shea told us he's the best running back that they've had in their 11 years at CDM, so they've got that strong run game. But David Razor's the guy. I'm high on David Razor. He's got John Tipton, Cooper Hoke, Max Lane. There's a ton of guys that get the ball. Truninger, the tight end. There's just a lot of guys that make it tough on the defensive backfield of Los Al. But you just mentioned it. Los Al has multiple guys going to college as defensive backs. So it's going to be a heavyweight fight. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a shootout. The question is, can the CDM defense stop Los Al's high-powered offense? Because it's going to be tough. I'm really looking forward to it. I think, like I said, it's going to be a heavyweight fight for the Sunset League, for the top of the league.
Yeah, it's going to be just instantly we're going to know with that game how legit CDM is. They're 5-0. They're at the top of the standings. They haven't played anyone as good as Los Al. Really fun game Thursday night, Los Al taking on CDM. Let's go down to the Edison Chargers at 3-2. Howard, the Chargers not atop the league standings, but in our preseason, and I believe it was our first or second show of Sunset Rewind, you predicted not the Los Al Griffins, but the Edison Chargers would be league champs at the season's end. And I kind of laughed at you. I know the Los Al faithful laughed at you. And I'm sitting here today heading into league play, and I have more faith in that prediction that you made about the Edison Chargers now than I ever did. I am really high on Coach Jeff Grady's program.
I am as well, and that's why I picked them to win the league. I knew it would be an uphill battle. When you got CDM in the league, when you got Los Al in the league, it's going to be tough for anybody to win it. But Coach Grady, he's an experienced coach. I love the way he approaches it. He's so poised. He's so calm as a leader that I know his group has a lot of faith in him and what Edison does as a program. And that's started to show up. He never got rattled, even in the first game. It was a blowout against Servite. It's easy to get down on yourself and feel bad. Through 4 games, Edison was only 2-2. So, but they never wavered. They understood that the competition that they played was tough. They're breaking in a new quarterback. They had a couple of receivers out. They haven't been a full, complete team, but they never used that as an excuse. And as the season has gone on, they've gotten better and better. And now we just talked up CDM and Los Al, but I don't know. Good luck trying to beat Edison. They're going to be a tough team, and they've got guys on defense that are stars. They've got guys on offense. I'm as high as could be on Edison, so I'm standing by my pick.
Yeah, and they add Ashton Hurley, the modern-day transfer wide receiver, back this week after having to sit out a few games, and I'm so excited to see how he fits in to that potent Edison offense. As we talked about earlier, Edison at home Thursday night. They open up Sunset League play against the Newport Harbor Sailors, so stay tuned for that one. Wrapping things up as we head into league play, the Huntington Beach Oilers, they're at 3-2, but there's a lot of things they need to clean up. They've had penalty issues. They're also 2 scores away from being 5-0. And Howard, we've been talking about this since the offseason. Who's that team that can come up and challenge the top dogs, challenge the Edisons, the Los Al's, and the CDMs of the league. Do you think the Oilers have what it takes to knock off one of those teams in league play?
It's tough. It's going to take a lot. A lot's going to have to go the Oilers' way for that to happen. I do think that they have the requisite talent at the right positions. You know, they've got some really strong linebackers and defensive backs. We love their quarterback. We love the receiving core. Their run game has come on strong as of late. So Huntington Beach is right there. Are they going to be able to knock on the door and knock off one of those top 3 teams that we just talked about? They're going to have to show us. If they're going to do it, they're going to have to show us, because nothing is given, especially in this league. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They have a great opportunity to do so. And I'm not going to predict that they're going to finish in the top 3. I'm just going to say that if they take care of business and go on an excellent run and execute their butts off, anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, HB checks all the boxes for me in terms of right guys at the right positions, good coaching, mix of veterans and young guys. They just have to do it. Like you said, they have to, on paper, I believe in HB. I think they could. They're going to have to prove it on the field. And that's another exciting storyline as we head into league play.
Yeah, they've had a couple of close games that didn't go their way. And I said this last night on our broadcast, and I'll say it again here. Coach Brown, Brett Brown, had a line that just sticks with me, and it's so true. He said, we're not good enough to beat ourselves and beat the opponent. We can't beat ourselves and expect to beat our opponent. That's just too tough. And that's what's happened in the Huntington Beach's 2 losses. So they're going to have to clean some of that stuff up, play 4 quarters of defense, and like I said, execute their butts off if they want to be successful in the Sunset League.
Well, Howard, it's time to throw the record books out. CDM 5-0, Fountain Valley and Newport Harbor 1-4, but you finish in that top 3 of the Sunset League, you're going to the playoffs. So it's anybody's league right now. We know who the favorites are. We know who's got their work cut out for them, but this is a fun time. This is an exciting time. It's a bit of a reset button, and league play is going to be fun, man.
It starts out fast. Edison versus Harbor, CDM versus Los Al, Thursday night. It's gonna be a big night in Sunset League. I can't wait to get it started.
I can't wait either. We got more content coming for you. Follow us on social media at sunset_rewind. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get a magazine, and our website is going to be dropping very soon. So that does it for preseason play. We're headed into league play, and it's full steam ahead. Thank you, everybody who tuned in for the Sunset League players, parents, coaches. For my broadcast partner, Howard Kroom, this is Alex Crawford saying from Saddleback to the Pacific Ocean, from the 405 to PCH, you've been watching Sunset Rewind. Thanks for tuning in.